All right, five, four, three, two, one. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday, everyone. This is your girl Elisha coming to you for another Tuesday night live. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing tonight? We are here for Tips for Tuesday on the third week in September as we celebrate our 18th photography anniversary. I am so happy that you are here to join us for our Tips for Tuesday in this Tuesday night live where we share lessons and our experience in our journey to custom creation photography and what you know as me, Elisha, the head photographer of custom creation photography, and our journey in this photography space. Okay, so week three is entitled Lessons Learned and Challenges Overcome. All right. So, lessons learned, challenges overcome, 5 tips, learning lessons, and overcoming challenges. Well, I'm going to do something a little different tonight. Okay. I am going to tell a story or do a story time on one of the biggest challenges I that always just stands in the back of my mind. And this happened very early on in my situation when I began to decide that I was going to become a photographer and take the world by storm. Okay. I actually, this photography firm was established in 2006. 2006, September, I grabbed my camera. I decided I'm going to take the world on. I am the photographer. I can do it all. So, as we were just taking pictures and booking clients and just any opportunity I had, I was just taking pictures. I didn't turn my living room of my apartment into my studio. I had clients coming over there to get headshots. I had people coming over there to get family photos. I was printing up the photos myself and everything like that. So, wouldn't you have it, it was 2000 as we went into 2007, and I'm just doing all of these different projects and different things. Well, I got an opportunity. One of my clients, which was my friend, as well as my coworker at where I used to work, okay? And she had given me the opportunity or passed on my information to someone who needed a photographer for some events that were coming up a weekend in Atlanta. So she passed on my information and they gave me a call and they let me know that they had a celebrity weekend going on and they needed a photographer to take some pictures. Okay, now this scared the lights out of me, okay? Because I'm an amateur photographer. I'm just taking people's pictures in my um living room and some different things like that, celebrity people, I was like, "Oh my goodness, no. No. I'm nervous, I'm scared." Like I don't mind, Joe Blow and my neighbor and this, that, and the third, but celebrity? Oh no. Anyway, finally, I let him know, hey, I am an amateur photographer. I'm just starting out in this thing. I just want to let you know. This is what you're getting. Okay. And then he basically kind of convinced me, like, hey, you know how to take a good pictures, don't you? And I said, I do. You know how to keep a steady shot, don't you? I said, I do. He said, then you'll be fine. You can just do this. I said, okay. So I accepted the challenge. I accepted the challenge and I actually called up one of my good friends and I actually had her assist me as her being my assistant for this weekend of events. Okay? So, let's get this thing started. The first event was a charity fundraiser. We went around and basically there was a couple of I think famous or celebrity football players, so we were just going around that night. It was like it was not. It was just a nice. I don't want to say it was a gala. Um, it was just a nice space, a nice networking area and everything like that. So they basically I was just going around snapping pictures and stuff. And actually it was just lovely to be out into the night and everything like that. Just very nice venue, hors d'oeuvres, just a nice vibe going on. Okay. That was the first night. Okay. All right. Whew, we did that. Okay. The second night was a charity bowling event. Okay. So we went there. And at the time, this is 2007. So Atlantic Station was really new. If you're familiar with Atlanta, Atlantic Station had some different things going on and stuff. So it was a celebrity bowling charity event. And you had singer Monica was there. Big Boy from Outcast was there, and some other celebrities, some football players, and different things like that. So once again, I was around snapping pictures and doing my thing. All right. Woo! We got that down. We good. All right. So then we had the third event, which he ended up canceling that event for me because of the space, the transportation, and some different things like that were a challenge. It was a pool party, but it was at a private party and the parking became a challenge. So he just told me I didn't have to worry about that. They didn't need any pictures for that, or they'll take care of whatever. All right. So what I did was I came back because they needed the pictures before they, went on back to wherever they dwelled or anything like that. So I went ahead, I got a chance, I cleaned up the pictures, um, upload them, cleaned them up, everything like that. And then I burnt them to a disk. And then my goal was to meet them back down at their hotel room, which was in Buckhead, and give them the disk of pictures. And so we did that. I did the exchange. He gave me my check, and I went on about my way. Thank you so much for the service. Thanks for the opportunity and everything like that. Okay. Well, not so fast. I thought everything was good. I put the check in my bank account. I cashed a check. I paid my assistant. Next thing I know, I received a phone call from the client, and the client let me know that they were going to be canceling my check. I'm like, "What? Canceling my check? Why? What happened? What do you mean? I did the job?" And he told me the reason why he was canceling the check is because the images that I took, they could not use. Could not use? I didn't understand. I'm like, I did the event. I came out. I have pictures. I mean, I probably have hundreds of pictures because being that I'm an amateur, I overshot the event to just make sure out of all the pictures I've taken that you have a good selection of pictures for whatever you needed. Anyway, he told me that they were canceling the check, they were not going to pay me. And so I was very, very upset, and I was livid actually. Very livid. Here I have put the check in my account that you're going to cancel, meaning it's going to bounce in my account. I have paid my assistant some of the money, and it was just awful. So basically, I was upset, and I was just like, I cannot believe I've done all this work. I went out to these jobs. I've taken these pictures, and he said these are pictures that I didn't understand. So finally, what I did, and a lot of times I have to get quiet with myself, and I have to talk to God, and I have to ask him for why. The question, why did this happen to me? And what should I do, and how should I respond to this? So then what I did was I wrote him an email, after I prayed and put some stuff together and calmed down and different things like that. I put an email together, and I reached out to him, and I told him that, hey, I did the job. I came out. I did what you asked me to do. But number one, I told you from the jump that I was an amateur photographer. I was an amateur photographer, and that is what you were getting. You accepted me anyway. You told me, "Hey, you can do this job." Okay? So, basically, after writing the email, he did contact me back, and he let me know, "You're right. You did say that. You did tell me that. And he said, and it wasn't that your pictures were bad, it were that they couldn't use them. And he basically said that a lot of the pictures were the backs of people's head. And so they were a magazine company. And so they were working to brand their magazine by using the different celebrities and stuff to hold their magazine, to push their business and their brand. Me being a new photographer, not understanding that. So I believe that was one of the first biggest lessons I had coming out the gates. So before I can even get further into this photography thing, this lesson happened to me. It hurt me to my core, though. It hurt me to my core, but it was one of the biggest lessons I had in my photography services. The big lesson was the critique of the work that I did. Okay. What I realized too is I was a shy photographer. Okay. So being shy, I was afraid to approach people, meaning go up to them and take their picture or, approach them. So what I would do is I would take pictures from a distance. And so I'm taking any kind of picture because I'm really not, I'm just shooting. I'm thinking with events, I just need to shoot. I didn't understand what I was shooting or what the deal was or how these pictures are going to be used. Okay. And so I didn't understand that. I'm shy. So I'm not approaching anybody. So I learned that I was shy. And so I'm shooting pictures from a distance. The second thing was, like I was saying, was the quality of images needed for the event. I didn't understand the assignment. At that time, I was too new. I didn't understand what it meant to come out to do an event and basically use these pictures to brand your business and what you were trying to do. These pictures were to appear in a magazine that they owned. And I didn't understand that. So, what he was saying when he said he couldn't use my pictures, not that the pictures were bad, they couldn't use the pictures I had. So, between my shyness and the lack of knowledge, it landed me with one of the biggest lessons in my journey. And it helped me to become a better connected photographer today. So, one of the biggest lessons I learned was from my failure of not knowing. It wasn't really necessarily a failure, it was just I didn't know. I didn't know. But because I learned this um, very early in the process, I was able to become better at my craft. And so as the years went on, all I can think about in the back of my head when I do events, because I am an event photographer, I love doing events. I love being connected to the people at the events. I love putting people together at the event. I'm no longer shy. I'm no longer shy when I go to an event. I connect to people when I do an event, when I shoot an event, and I'm able to capture um, meaningful, memorable images. But I owe it all to the opportunity that I had early on in my journey, which was a lesson learned. So I take this as this Tips for Tuesday was my story time. I tell this story often and I try to make it kind of simplistic. I try to not simplistic. Kind of shorten the story and stuff because I can kind of go on and on and on, but I want to just get the gist of the story. I basically got hired right out the gates for a celebrity weekend. I'm an amateur photographer. I got paid. I had me an assistant. I did the pictures and I learned my biggest lesson to date. And I'm thankful for that opportunity. I'm thankful for learning that early on because what it did was I learned from that lesson and it took me to overcome my emotions in the situation to understand what had really happened for me, was happening for me, was an opportunity for me to learn and become better. Because I always used to feel like because I was an amateur and because I hadn't studied photography or anything like that, I just had a camera. I was on the job training with every opportunity that I had. So, once again, I just wanted to kind of share my story with you. These are tips for Tuesday. I'm just going to briefly just go through some of the tips in the lessons. Tip number one is learn from your failures, which I don't want to say that was necessarily a failure, but I didn't know. I didn't know, but you learn from your failures. You kind of look back, look at these lessons, and see what lesson is to be learned into some things that you see as a failure. um, Number two is the power of patience and persistence. I didn't give up or anything like that. And I have to be patient with myself and patient with my work in learning. You have to learn. In photography, it is an ongoing, evolving craft. It's continuously learning. And also a lot of trends come and trends go, and it's a process of learning your camera, learning lighting, learning. It's just the science of it all. And so the power of patience and persistence. Lesson number three is managing growth. Through this process, like I said, I started out not knowing. And then as you go and as you learn and as you embrace different opportunities, you're growing. You're growing in the process. And what you wanted to do maybe yesterday, like when I first came out the gates, I'm telling you, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do everything. I'm shooting all kinds of pictures. I'm shooting everything. And then I realized in my growth, stuff that I did not want to do anymore. There's certain photography jobs and different things like that it was not my interest. I learned that I really enjoyed connecting with people. I really enjoyed shooting, social events and different things like that. So I kind of you manage your growth. You kind of know what you want moving forward. Lesson number four is the importance of being flexible. A lot of times in this job you have to be flexible. Schedules change, things change, in this process, be flexible. You just gotta kind of adapt and roll with the punches. So that's one of the lessons. And also balancing your passion in business. This is such a big one, because I'm very, very passionate about photography, the creative aspect of it and everything like that. But this is a business. Okay. This is a business where you have to manage different things that are related to business, such as marketing, your finances, and different things like that, because we have to keep this ball running. It requires your creativity, but what is your creativity if your marketing, your logistics, your project manage, all this stuff is out the door? Okay. So it's a balancing act between your passion and your business. Okay. So once again, this was one of the lessons that I wanted to share with you from Custom Creation. One of my biggest lessons to date. I have some other things, but that's always the one that stands out to me. It happened very early on. I still have the check that was canceled and it has the big canceled mark on it. I still have the check as a reminder that you learn lessons. Life is about learning lessons. It's not a failure just because you had a bad day or you had a bad moment or you had a bad event or you had a bad client or things just didn't work out. Just kind of work to overcome your emotion, roll with the punches, and find the lesson in everything. Listen, I am your girl, Elisha, coming to you for another Tuesday Night Live. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for listening to our story. And listen, if you want to manifest the life of your dreams, make sure you check out our digital guide that we have published. It is our manifestation manual, and it is available in our store. Okay, it is available on customcreationphotography.com. Download your copy. Today is a digital copy, and you can start living the life of your dreams tonight. Okay, so thanks so much, and we will see you next week, God willing. And there's more to come. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Bye bye.